after the flood. Really and truly, the best explanation for it is in the book of Enoch. And because Enoch isn't canon, I'm hesitant to say it with, definitive authority. But the story goes something like this, right? Yo, read Matthew 8:28-33 real quick. Why did Jesus do what the demons wanted? Animals can be possessed. And where did demons go after the pigs die? So the demons, Jesus, there is a time that has been set for the demons and Satan to be cast into the lake of fire, right? There's a time where the angels that are chained in Tartarus, the same spirits that Jesus went and spoke to when he was in the heart of the earth for 3 days, there's a time, an appointed time where all of these people, right, the fallen angels, the spirits, the evil spirits, Satan, will be destroyed or cast into the lake of fire for eternal damnation. And so they were begging Jesus not to, I believe, they were begging Jesus not to send them to where the rest of the unclean spirits were sent after the flood. Really and truly, the best explanation for it is in the book of Enoch. And because Enoch isn't canon, I'm hesitant to say it with, definitive authority. But the story goes something like this, right? The book of Enoch suggests that unclean spirits, aka demons, are the spirits of the Nephilim that died. The Nephilim being the offspring of angels and human women. This is what gave arose to giants and to hybrid creatures. And because these creatures were the only creatures not created by God, there was no set place for them. There was nowhere for their spirits to go when they died, right? Tartarus was a place prepared for the devil and his angels, which I don't know, maybe the demons, maybe God prepared that place for demons as well. But right, you got Tartarus, you got Sheol. Sheol has 2 compartments. And you got heaven, you got earth. These are the realms of our world. And when these creatures, these ungodly creatures, these creatures that God never made, the Nephilim, when they died, their spirits were trapped here in the earth realm. And so God gathered them up and sent them to Tartarus, where they would be along with the rest of the fallen angels that rebelled against God. And according to the book of Enoch, Satan, who was the only one who was left of the fallen angels to still be on the earth, he asked God for him to retain a portion of the unclean spirits so that they could do his bidding on the earth. And God granted him that permission. And so a portion of the unclean spirits were left on the earth. So when Jesus sees, when these demons are talking to Jesus, they're basically begging Jesus not to send them to that place, to Tartarus, to that place where the other spirits have been chained, because they're aware of the fact that they have been given permission to remain on the earth until their appointed time for destruction. And so essentially they were begging Jesus not to send him there. And so they asked him, that's one interpretation. Another interpretation is they were simply asking not to leave the region. They were not asking not to leave the country, that area. Jesus has authority over demons. Wherever they said that they must go, they have to go. But, Jesus honoring the various commitments made by his father, right? He wasn't going to send them to be imprisoned with the other unclean spirits, but he could have very well sent them to go somewhere far away, and they would have had to go, but they would still be roaming the earth and they could still come back. And so for whatever reason, Jesus just decided to, appease them and say, okay, well, you're going to roam the earth regardless. I'm not going to go out of my way and send you to a faraway place. And so they instead were sent into pigs. Can animals be possessed? Clearly animals can be possessed. So I hope that answers your first question. Those are two theories I've heard for that question. I've had the same question. And so those are the two explanations I've heard. One that is informed by the book of Enoch, and another that is informed by the fact that they just didn't want to leave that region. Why can animals be possessed, or can animals be possessed? Clearly. So what is a demon? What is an unclean spirit? A demon or an unclean spirit, right? They're people without bodies. They're people without bodies. And as people without bodies, they need a body in order to fulfill their lusts, in order to experience this physical world. And so, of course, for them, ideally, they would inhabit a person, but a human. But, a pig seems to be better than nothing. I also think Jesus was using it as, an opportunity. Jesus was using it as an opportunity to emphasize the symbolism of, or to point to what the symbolism of unclean animals was in the first place, right? The whole thing was, if someone touched the carcass or consumed an unclean animal, they were unfit to go into the temple. The unclean animals were symbolic of unclean spirits. Your body is the temple. And so just as you don't allow unclean animals into the temple, whether it is by, consuming them and then going into the temple, or touching their dead bodies and going into the actual temple of God, similarly, we are not to allow unclean spirits to enter into our temple. And how do we do that? By sinning, as God said to Cain, right? Sin lieth at the door, right? Sin lieth at the door. That's Genesis chapter 4, I believe. Okay, all right. Here it is. The man was intimate with his wife Eve, and she conceived and gave birth to Cain. She said, I have had a male child with the Lord's help. She also gave birth to his brother Abel. Now Abel became a shepherd of flocks, but Cain worked the ground. In the course of time, Cain presented some of the land's produce as an offering to the Lord, and Abel also presented an offering, some of the firstborn of his flock and the fat and of their fat portions. The Lord had regard for Abel and his offering, but he did not have regard for Cain and his offering. Cain was furious, and he looked despondent. Then the Lord said to Cain, why are you furious, and why do you look despondent? If you do what is right, won't you be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must rule over it. Now here we see sin is said to be what? Crouching at the door. It is outside waiting to come in. And if it comes in, what will it do? Its desire is to rule you. That's really what this is saying when it says its desire is for you, right? It's saying its desire is to rule over you, right? But you must rule over it, right? Its desire is to control you. Its desire is to lead you into fulfilling its desires. And so, I think that is the real symbolism of the unclean animal distinction. This is why I don't believe it's an actual moral thing to eat these animals, because Noah was given permission to eat these animals. God would have never told Noah that it was okay for him to eat all moving things if it was a moral problem, because, that would be God going against his nature. So I think the whole thing with the unclean animals was symbolic to point to unclean spirits. But, that's just what I think. That's my take on it.